Morning, everybody. It is a chilly but beautiful day here at the Nicholson File Studios. We are, when you see this, when we get ready for making plates, we're almost getting close to the end of the semester, which is quite a concept right now. But I'm going to make some plates today. I'm going to show you how to attach a bat to a wheel with about 1 pound ball of clay. Here I have 2 pounds here for a small, like a side plate, 3 pounds for a regular sized dinner plate, and here I have 4 pounds for a large dinner plate. I'm going to give you the dimensions of what you can approximately throw to for a side plate, salad plate. It's about an 8 inches width. For a medium plate, it's about a 10 inches width, and for a large dinner plate, it's about 11 and a half inches diameter. So this has been really wedged. And now I'm just going to set it over here and really cover it up with plastic so it doesn't dry out. And we'll start, it's always good to start with the smaller form. Get yourself warmed up. With this clay is wedged and ready to go, I don't have to stop and reset myself. These are the lovely bats with the holes for bat pins. And these, I'm just going to leave these where they are right now and throw my way around them. Oh, I left this here because I swept the floor last work session. I cleaned my wheel head last work session. And when I came in this morning, I was all ready to rock. So this 1 pound ball is going right down on the wheel head. And seal it down there. Do some centering. It's very interesting how this is a Monday morning. Over here the heat is off over the weekend, and the clay just responds, obviously, naturally, to the fact that it was probably pretty close to freezing here over the weekend in this brick building with no insulation. So you really, you do have to work the clay up to a room temperature. In the summer, when you open a bag of clay, it sweats, of course. Okay, so making this pad is sort of, you'll see this again when we're making our plate. Think about a cylinder. When you open up that ball of clay, it's about as wide as it is tall, and then you pull vertically up. With the bowl, you have a narrower base, and you pull up like a hemisphere shape or a cone shape. And then here we're just basically thinking about a disc. So I want to bring this down to be about a 1/2 inch thick. With my thumb right on the edge so that this clay on the edge doesn't get uneven. Pull it out a little farther, and I'm really giving it some muscle. Okay, so that's almost to the bat pins. and then just make some grooves. Here is an ancient bat, and the bats in the RISD studio are also ancient. I'm just going to wet it down, line it up with the concentric rings that are scribed into the wheelhead. That just makes it visually easier to throw. It's difficult when the bat is off center to sort of keep your eyes on what's happening with the clay. Plus, if the bat is at all off center, centrifugal force can further pull it off and the bat can go flying. Trust me, it's not fun. So I'm just kind of wiggling this and it feels pretty well attached. So just to give you a preview of what we're going to do here, we're going to throw this plate, and then you have to leave it for a long time to let the center part dry. And then the center part is very important, and along the lines of the center part, any of these little holes here, if I throw it down, there may end up being trapped air under there, and that can cause, difficulty in the throwing. So I hope you can see this, that I'm taking this clay and really pushing it into a point so that there's no possibility that we can trap air under there. And then find where you think the center might be and pat it down. And I'm sort of watching the edge of this clay to make sure that it is as centered as possible to start with, and then seal it. Okay, so we are going to center it. So always, I'm sort of watching this bat to make sure that it's staying on center. If it should start to move around, unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut the clay off, remove the bat, and recenter it. It's very difficult to go on if the bat gets detached from the wheel. So I'm really thinking about the bottom here with my right hand right here, down here, trying to keep it centered. And then I press down from the left hand right here. I'm going to bring it up one more time. Feels good. So I need to get this clay flat. If I use my fingers, I don't have the strength really that I need, so I'm going to use the heel of my hand. So these three fingers are holding the bottom steady, and my right hand is pressing down. And you see my hands are gripping together. you'll get this little, it looks sort of like a mushroom here. I want to really make sure this ball of clay is rounded to the wheel head. And I bet you can tell that this clay, from sitting in a cold room over the weekend, it's pretty hard. It's struggling here. But you know, this is the interesting thing about, you know, working on the wheel, is that you are always responding second by second to what you're feeling. All right, so that's a pretty thick base, and I'm thinking ahead to how I'm going to trim this pot. That's about 3/4 of an inch. How I'm going to trim this pot, how high a foot I want on this pot. I am guessing that I will want the pot to be 1/4 inch thick with 1/4 inch foot. So I want to get this down to around 1/2 inch. Even floor, even wall. That's better. So this clay has been super stretched. I'm now going to throw toward the center to try to compress that clay in on itself to avoid any kind of cracking. There's a very difficult crack that you get from clay. It's called an S-crack right here because you're stretching the clay out so much. And then I really want to make sure that this wall is very compressed and very strong before I pull it up. So that feels good. You can trace a nice, even spiral out to the wall. And then the rim is compressed and ready to be thrown. Now look right here. This is my support for this wall. If I push it in further, when I pull this wall up, there'll be no support. So I want to leave this diameter nice and strong. There are many different plate profiles that you can go for. You can go for a smooth, continuous curve that will work well in a dinnerware set where you have bowls that are a smooth and continuous curve. Or the wall could come up and there could be a flange, more angular type of a plate. And that's good if you're working with a bowl that might be more angular. So you think about what you've made so far and how you may want to match it. That is, if you are making dinnerware. All right, so I'm ready. So I've ribbed the clay. I'm just going to hold my hands here and give it a squeeze. I'm going to move my hands so maybe you can see what I'm doing here. And you see how long I'm holding my hands here before I slowly pull it up to the rim. And then I'm going to rib it again one more time. So plates are interesting. You're really stretching that clay out. You definitely do not want to overwork your plate. You want to establish the shape you want, which I am doing with this rib right now. Maybe put in a nice spiral or some kind of a gesture which I did right there. And then with your piece of wet and folded plastic or chamois, compress that rim. Got some schmutz there, gotta clean it up. Okay, so this bottom has been stretched. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to compress it just a little, make a groove. Grab the cutting wire, line it up, pull it through. Et voila! So I can go back, true this up here. Make sure it's nice and even, and get going on the next plate. Plates are fun. All you painters and surface designers out there will have a ball with plates. And by now in class, we are firing, working with our glazes, and there's so much to learn there. Thanks, folks. See you soon.